Hey, I'm Stan Stalnaker, and we're on the sidelines of the World Climate Summit at COP27 in Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, and right out in front of the Hub Culture Climate Pavilion with Hedera, a place we've been hosting conversations. We're really psyched to be actually partnered as a media partner to the World Climate Summit, where we're talking to leaders like Adrian Corliss. How are you?
That's great.
How are you? From Carbon Capture Inc. Adrian and I know each other from Davos, and we know each other from LA, and I've been to see the work that you guys are doing at your place in LA, which is quite incredible. Talk to us about carbon capture.
Sure. So Carbon Capture Inc. is a technology company based in Los Angeles. We're a direct air capture technology company that's developing a modular approach for actually pulling CO2 back out of the atmosphere.
So you have a machine and it pulls the carbon out of the atmosphere.
That's right. So we're basically, what we're doing is we're creating a negative emission. So we're undoing emissions that have come from other sources. And the reason it's important is that if we're thinking about 2050 and a future of net zero, it's not going to be enough to reduce emissions and abate emissions. You're not going to get there. So you need that last piece, which is negative emissions, which is what direct air capture brings.
Now, our executive editor, Edie Lush, spoke to you in Davos back in May and got an update about the work that you guys are doing. What's happened between May and now?
Yeah, the last 6 months have been incredible. So, not just for our business, but I think for climate in general. And I think a few things, as you mentioned, we've moved into our new facilities in Los Angeles, which is great. So it gives us a space to be able to go and be building and developing technology very quickly. And because of that, we've now got our first direct air capture reactor up and running in our facility.
Is that what we call them? Direct air capture reactors?
Exactly. That's the component. Yeah. And the second thing is that the U.S. government has actually passed the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah, big
and
change.
It's huge. And for direct air capture, it really has supercharged this opportunity. And so it's actually now increased the value of carbon removal up to $180 a ton for the next 20 years. So it gives us basically a foundation to grow a business quickly, and that's really important.
And these are a special type of carbon credit called a CRC, a carbon credit removal?
No, so what we're doing, the IRA is basically it's a subsidy under the IRS, so it's a 45Q tax credit.
Okay.
But the good thing is that that credit is really there to subsidize the growth of the industry. But the carbon dioxide removal credit that you mentioned is actually what we can go and sell to emitters that are looking under their ESG programs to get to that full net zero.
So it's essentially a special type of carbon credit.
Correct, and it's a carbon removal credit as opposed to an avoidance credit.
That's what I was saying. You have a CRC.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. Yeah, because when you get towards net zero, it's not just enough to quit emitting or avoiding emissions. You actually have to have a negative emission to offset every positive emission, and that's kind of the math.
How much carbon are you guys going to be able to remove from the atmosphere?
So that's kind of the next big thing that's happened since May, and so. Back in September, we announced our first large-scale project, which is what we're calling Project Bison.
That's up in Wyoming.
Project Bison is going to be based in Wyoming, and it's going to allow us between now and 2030 to progressively roll out a project that's going to get us to 5 megatons per year of removal. In that time frame, and the nice thing again is that it's going to allow us to.
And for people who don't know, a megaton is a million tons.
A million tons, so 5 million tons a year by 2030 is the goal of that project. And in parallel, we're also going to be developing additional projects in that time frame. So our goal is to get to somewhere around 10 million tons of removal by 2030 across our projects.
Fantastic. Maybe faster if we can scale you guys up.
That's the goal, yeah. I mean, right now, from our perspective, the ingredients are there for us to go as fast as we can. So, again, we understand the urgency. I think that, we have a growing environment. I mean, we're here at COP because people actually are growing to understand the imperative around carbon removal, and whether it's private companies like ourselves or NGOs or governments, it's never been, I would say, this kind of tailwinds available to this industry before.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Adrian. I'm Stan Stalnaker here in Sharm el Sheikh. Come back and find more conversations on YouTube and at Hub Culture on Instagram, or find us over on your audio listening device at the Hub Culture Chronicles.